Final piece tonight. One of the members asked this week, what is love? Do we really know? Again, like last week and the last piece, have we defined it? An emotion that is far too casually used in words, memes and throwaway lines these days. And it's one of the reasons why I'm not overly enamoured with Christmas or birthday cards. Sweet poems, sugary based lines, all mass produced. And none of those words came from the heart of the person given the card. Those cards are not your words written on that card. All of it written by marketing strategy-based groups, all designed to sell. But love is not something you sell or buy. It's not a bloody marketing tool. The definition of what is love and the descriptions of it today really goes nowhere near the real meaning of it, and is often dictated now in a society that's lost its way, with a majority of people who don't care beyond their own bubble world. By bubble world, I mean those within their own circle. And yet, even in their own circle, there's bitchiness, comparative and competitive mindsets, envy, and a desire to have better than the next person. We've all done it. And that's what we're trying to change. If real love is to be garnered. And I'm pleased to see many of our members stepping away from that bubble. But their world is riddled with it. Love is a higher vibrational frequency. How can many give or experience it with low vibrational frequencies and energies? The answer is they can't. So they fake it. And many will not like that statement. But on a frequency level, it's true. If everyone is so loving, why is the world in such a mess? Clearly, as a collective, we are not. You have loads of people who don't even love themselves because they're comparing their looks, life, belongings and achievements with other people. If people don't love themselves, which means they don't have the frequency contained within them, how can you put out the same frequency to somebody else that you don't have for yourself? As within, so without. Ponder on that for a second. As within, so without. The issue is you can't, but you can fake it. You can say it 1,000 times a day and believe it, but love is not words. Words lie. Words are spells. Actions can be staged or faked, but frequencies can't. That's the kicker. You can't really love others if the self doesn't love itself. It then becomes a projection of love, a false image like the mirror, an archetype of what it means, but it's not real love. And society needs to learn that for future development as a species. We're not here to compete, but to grow as a collective and bring back that frequency. I love my partner or husband or wife because he buys me things or they give me what I want. Again, at the base level, that's not love. Love can't be bought. No matter how many cars, homes or apparel is bought, you can never buy a frequency. Like heaven, it's a state of being. If money bought love, why are all the elites miserable looking bastards? You've all seen them. Why are many of the elites all cavorting with several different partners? Is that love? Clearly you can't buy it. They are the example. Love has become distorted by lust and sex. But just having sex with someone does not make it love. Sex is meant to be a pleasure act, which many do alone, with one partner or several partners before they find love, or so they think. Only for so many relationships to find out once the novelty of the sexual act wears off, their desire to be with that person is not the same. And so many seek affairs for various reasons, some of which are valid, some of which are not, the latter being the higher category. We've seen the rise of people loving the same sex, particularly in the last 3 to 5 decades. But is that based on the sex act or real love? Or is it role play? Which many couples do in their own bedroom to spice things up. But there is a contradiction in loving the same-sex partner, where the man dresses in female clothes and the female dresses in male clothes. But if lesbians love each other as same-sex partners, why does one play the role of a man? Isn't that defeating the object of loving the same sex? And it kind of supports the fact that this world is messed up and very confused psychologically and also emotionally. And that is why defining love has become all so difficult. Now, I'm not against same-sex partners. I don't have a say in the matter, and neither should anyone else for that matter. That's their sovereign choice of who they choose to be with. And really, it's nobody else's business. But life today is dictated now by people interfering in other people's lives and choices. Partners, married or not, are seen an object of desire, something to show off to their friends. And one group will ask, how much does he earn? The other will ask, is she good in bed? And then they ask, do you love her? Then comes the awkward moment if the male says yes to his mates. It generally follows along the lines of, don't be stupid, are you going soft on us, or why don't you sleep around a bit? The female who brings her partner to the circle, and when asked, what does he earn or what does he do for a living, they either lie, fudge the answer, or they turn around, or if they turn around and say he's out of work, oh, the frowns, the puzzled looks, the twitching nose, and the awkward shifts, and the eyes diverted away reaction that person gets. You could cut the atmosphere with a knife. Come on, you all know. In both genders, that is what happens. You have seen it or done it. Either way, it is damaging and not conducive to letting love flow, is it? Whether a female's good in bed or not, or how much the male earns. Love is a weakness, they say, particularly in male circles, but actually it's a strength. But I will tell you what is a weakness. Relationships with a controlling factor. A relationship with one partner controlling the other is not based on love, but weak individuals exerting what they think is strength and dominance over the other, but is actually showing their weakness inside. Real love does not have a controlling factor to it. It's like a frequency, which is a wave motion. You ride the crest and the fall in the same way, which means to be flexible and is to give and take. Anyone in a controlling relationship is not based on love. Controlling is not love. They see you as a threat to their perceived dominance and so control you. So what is love? Essentially, it's undefinable or not easily describable. It's a state of being. That is because this world has been tipped into much darkness, negative thought forms, controlling nature's comparative and competitive mindsets mixed with the showing off the trophy aspect based on looks, physique, or the size of the covered up parts. It has become largely lost in desires, lust, and the fear of being alone. The latter of which keeps many in varying degrees of toxic relationships. That is the base level of it. The higher level, one could say, is where we really lost it. Too few have the real connection to source. That is often faked also, based on the religious construct of what it's supposed to be. But that construct is so far removed from connection to source, it's beyond comprehension. That disconnect done by various means, including our own, is all too similar in the loss of real love here. Both are a frequency, similar in nature and experience. A longing, a remembrance long in the past. It is, in essence, a feeling, a memory, and an experience all rolled into one blissful moment. Collecting that and bottling it, then bringing it back into this existence and accepting it like a memory code, then describes better of what is love. Many people can love, but being in love is different. Something that is lost in this manufactured world of marketing, false idols, masks, and a perception of what love, life, or human is. Not a knowing. You can love many people. You can desire to have sex with many people. But that does not equate to loving someone or being in love. As many of you have all found out, there is a clear distinction between all three. But people often don't define what it is that they really want. Love, sex, or to be in the love frequency. Three very separate actions that are all too often blurred into the one and distorted on a massive scale. Some females go out and expose all kinds of flesh with the desire to get men or women to look at them. But if the average bloke takes more than a glancing look, some females react to it badly and exude a volume of cuss words, venom and demeaning terms. As an overview observer, is that not sending mixed messages again? On the one hand, for your vanity, attention and self-confidence, you want people to look at you. But if they do so and you don't approve of that person looking, it's not acceptable. Yet if it was Brad Pitt or Leonardo DiCaprio, depending on your choice, that is acceptable. Well, actually it's not. It's those mixed messages being sent again. Unlike most situations in life, we send a plethora of mixed messages and rarely define what we want or what we're looking for. It is a lack of real understanding as much as communication that creates so much division between us all. As some awaken to the higher forms of awakening, there is a difference. And the memory of those frequencies start to return. The soul family frequencies, the soul partner frequencies of the past begin to stir up within you. And you might find you may be attracted to people who you've never met in the physical. Under normal circumstances, in the physical, that is desire, a longing to be connected to something or someone, but this is different. It's not necessarily the person that is desired, but the frequency that person emits from a long time in the past. An enduring memory of the all-encompassing frequency that is love. But the common misconception in life is to find that love frequency, that it must come from the external connection. But like everything else, it comes from within. The mastery of the self and the sword makes that connection all so much easier. So what has become clear in these articles over the last 2 shows is we're not very good at defining matters, what is and what isn't. Without that ability or realization to define things, how can you possibly use your innate abilities and manifest a better way or path? Do you know what you're asking for? Throwaway statements like, I want a better life, is not a definition, it's just a statement. You have not defined what that better life entails, or what is human, or what is love. Learn to define. Then throw in your imagination, which brings in manifest, and not magic, but your own inherent abilities that changes your timeline and subsequently your life. Again, it's all in the words. The word fine, originally around the 1200s, meant a termination, end of, and so death. D is to move away from. So to define things, you are moving away from the end and to a new beginning. This has been the Truth, Honour and Integrity Show. My name's Thomas Williams. I'll see you all on Sunday. Bye for now.